Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the new Hasbro G.I. Joe Classified Series Roadblock. And I know what you're thinking. You said you weren't going to review any more of these figures, except for ones that you decided to buy. Did you decide to buy this? I didn't. This was sent to me to review. It's on loan from a buddy, and I'll be sending it back to him afterwards. But I know a lot of you guys are interested in this line, so I'm happy to review it for you. And so that's what we're going to do. Is this guy as good as Snake Eyes, not counting the loose floppiness that half of you experienced and the knife not fitting in the sheath? Kinda. There's a lot going on here. There's a lot that's really good, and then some stuff that's not, but maybe that's excused because of the really good. That's kind of where I'm at right now. We'll see how I feel by the end of the review, and you guys can let me know how you feel by the end of the review too. So let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands just shy of 7 inches, which makes him pretty close to 18 centimeters, a little bit shy of that. Is he supposed to be that big? Is Roadblock that big? I mean, I get that he's supposed to be a big dude, but 7 inches in a scale that's not 7-inch scale that's pretty big. It's pretty big. All right, let's talk about the aesthetics. If he's supposed to look like that, it's terrible. He does not look like that. Not even a little bit. The skin tone's way wrong. The facial features aren't even close. It's not even close at all. A little bit. Nope, not even close. If he's not supposed to look like that, then it doesn't matter. I don't know. You guys can tell me. As far as the details on the figure goes, his tattoo is not bad. They had to put a tattoo across the shoulder and the bicep. And I'm guessing it's a lion. It looks like a lion, kind of hard to make out, but I think they did reasonably well. It seems to line up pretty nicely. That's good. There's a lot of paint work on his vest for the detail stuff, and that's pretty clean. The red looks pretty good. What are these designs? I've heard they're from a video game that's yet to be released. They seem very cartoonish, and I get it, it's G.I. Joe, it's not supposed to be serious, but like, what is that? Does anybody know? Can you just let me know? I'm curious. Anyway, they did a good job painting it. The star is very crooked. Is it supposed to be like that? I don't know. These are painted well enough. Paint all around. Well enough. Done. It's okay. But somehow, not really somehow, because of this green plastic that they used, and without painting it at all, and the gray without painting that at all, it looks very plasticky and unfinished. It looks very much like a cheap toy, which it's not. I mean, like, they did a good job in a lot of ways, but this vest, it does not look good. It looks very not good. As for the face, like I said, it looks nothing like that reference image, if that's what he's supposed to look like. It's painted well enough for the eyes and most of the paintwork, but the mustache part kind of doesn't have enough paint on it in some places, so it looks like his lower half of his face is kind of like just melding all together. There's no paint for the hair, so that's a little strange. Not bad, and yours probably won't have that. I do like the musculature on the arms. It's very nicely done. He looks sufficiently bulky. His shoulders are not particularly tiny. That is good. The sculpt work for the pants, lots of texturing in there. That's very nice. Wrinkles are good. Pockets are good. They did make the knees very thick, which is fine on this side, but this side the knee is strapped, so it should Hey, what happened? It should be narrower there. When you take baggy pants and put a strap around it to hold it up, to hold up whatever you're strapping, it would pinch in there. They didn't pinch in, so it gives them a really fat knee look. And this area is also very similar to that, in that the boots should be smaller probably than the really baggy pants, but they're not. So he has a very fat tubular leg look going on, and then little tiny feet at the bottom, which the feet are actually normal size. It's just because of the fat armor here, which I get the armor's there, but the way they did it, it just kind of throws off the look a little bit. I'm guessing most people probably won't even notice that, and the gold paint is nice. I've always said Hasbro can paint metallics like nobody's business, and they proved that here again. So yeah, overall it's aesthetically pleasing. I don't like the plastic they chose here without painting it. Some other issues here and there, but it is still good enough. Plenty of paint applications though in sculpt work, so I mean, let me just give you a quick comparison here. Same price point, same company. Notice a difference? Honestly, they still both look like toys to me. They don't really have that collector feel to them. But one of these is not like the other. We'll just leave it at that. Alright, aesthetically, I'm going to give this guy an 8. There's a lot going on that's pretty good, some stuff that's not so great. As far as accessories go, we get a little knife that can go in the sheath on his chest. However, it's just open on the back, and so it sits in at a funny angle. It looks like he has stabbed himself with his knife. No paintwork on the knife either. We also get this giant tuning fork, which has a pretty nice paint job, honestly. It looks pretty good. It's nice and shiny and looks nice, and that's good, but... and it also has... magazine. I guess you can count that as an accessory. I guess it's a magazine. It's a little bit difficult for him to hold because of the wrist articulation, so we'll get to that later, but it's kind of a cool accessory, I guess. So I'll give him a 6 out of 10. The knife is not painted in, it fits in his sheath funny, and the big tuning fork is hard for him to hold in a realistic way. Okay, on to the articulation. The head is on a hinge and a ball peg. And then the neck is also on a ball peg. It's kind of difficult to use, but the neck does have an additional joint in there, which is pretty darn cool. And then the head being on a ball peg is nice. You're going to get most of your posability out of that. The hinge is there to help, but I can't get it to function properly. Like, the hinge just doesn't want to go. The neck keeps moving rather than the hinge right here, so be aware of that. Butterfly joint for the shoulders. You can see right there, the way it's shaped. Front of the arm, you can see that that's just not going anywhere, that it just doesn't work. There's no real range. Like, you can go back a little bit on this side, but still there's almost no range out of that butterfly joint. The shoulder itself, you know what, since this isn't mine, I'm not going to move this shoulder in case I screw up that tattoo. I'll do it on this side. The shoulders get plenty of range. I wish I could show you guys if that was going to screw it up, and if it was mine I would just do it and live with it, but since it's not, I can't. I'm sorry. Be careful, don't scratch that paint job. Maybe. Shoulders work just fine. Full rotation. Bicep swivel is fine. Double jointed elbow works just fine. Wrists have a swivel and a hinge, and this is what I was talking about. It's a horizontal hinge on both wrists, and he has trigger fingers on both sides, which I guess are fine. But having the wrist at the angle it is, you see the angle, how it goes up and then out. It's not going to be very easy for him to hold this thing. Because look at... So... I don't quite get what's going on here. You have a trigger down here, obviously. Then you also would be holding it here and here. So you'd hold it like a minigun type situation, here and here, like that. But it also has a buttstock and a regular thing, so I don't know. I'll try to get him to hold it in some ways at the end, but as far as I can tell, it's not going to work. For the torso, there appears to be an ab crunch and a diaphragm. I think it's the same as in a ball peg. I think it's the same as Snake Eyes underneath this vest, and as far as I can tell, the vest does not come off. And again, it's not mine, so I can't really screw with it too much, but you'll be able to use that lower ball peg at least. It looks like he can lean at the top, but the vest being one solid piece doesn't really afford much. So it'll work, but be aware that the vest is going to get in the way some. The hips, he still has the hinged hips. Is that helpful? Let's see. They're up right now, so can the leg go forward? It can. Pretty good range. Go out to the side, all the way. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Is this line just going to be riddled with loose joints? I hope not. So that's actually the hinge. That drop-down hinge that's causing that. But look at that. Without using the hinge, you get full-on splits. So this is what I was talking about on Snake Eyes. I think it was Snake Eyes. Maybe it was a different figure. That hinge doesn't really serve... Maybe it was Spider-Man. That hinge is nice in theory, but it doesn't really do anything. He has perfectly good range without it. And in fact, the hinge is causing a problem, so that's not good. Hopefully that's not an issue for everybody, but it seemed like with Snake Eyes, the looseness that I had was about half and half. So some of you are going to get it, some of you aren't. Double jointed knee, very bulky, but it does work nicely. That's good. And then we have a boot swivel, which is nice. Ankle hinge. Can't go very far forward because of that shin guard. Goes all the way back, though. Look how fat that ankle is. Look how fat the ankle is. Holy macaroni, that is a fat ankle. And then you get an offset ankle rocker, which is only sufficient. So it's in line with Snake Eyes. I think Snake Eyes is a little bit better still, but this one is not bad. Articulation, I'm going to give it... I'll give it a 7. Yeah, 7. A lot of things good in theory. In practice, not so much. Some loose joint issues, not being able to use the torso, not being able to use the butterfly joint. Ankle not going very far forward at all. Definitely some limitations here. The wrists also being the wrong direction. I love the paint job on the hands though. Yeah, definitely some issues. So 7 for the articulation. In theory, good. On paper, good. In practice, not so good. Final verdict on this guy. It's definitely a step in the right direction. I mean, their G.I. Joe line, the G.I. Joe line from Hasbro, makes the Marvel Legends line overall, on average, line versus line, the G.I. Joe line beats it hands down. It's not even close. So for a $20 figure, I think this is fine. Most people are going to find it perfectly satisfactory. I'm going to give it an overall rating of, not comparing it to Marvel Legends, comparing it to Snake Eyes, because he's the standard since he came out first. Compared to Marvel Legends, these guys are blowing those out of the water. But I can't compare line to line when they're not really, like, most Marvel Legends suck compared to this. So if I use that metric, then this guy gets a 9. I don't think he's worth a 9 though, relative to what he could have been based on their own pricing. These rating systems, I wish I didn't ever start doing it, but you guys want it, and every time I mention not doing it, you say, no, keep doing it. So I'm doing it. I'm going to give him only an 8. There's a lot going on here, but for what he could have been, given that they spent the money anyway, they could have done it better. So 8. 8, that's what I'm saying, 8. If you guys don't like the rating system, that's too bad. You brought it on yourself. Alright guys, let me know what you think about the figure. Let me know what you think about the review. Give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down, either one. I'd appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe, I'd appreciate that too. And I think you might appreciate it because I have new videos out almost every single day and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.